Hi everyone, welcome back to Catherine's Plates, where it's always simple, easy, and delicious in my kitchen. Today it's all about its Fall Y'all series and a holiday series that I've been working on. We are going to create au gratin potatoes. Now there's a difference between au gratin and scallop potatoes, and as we go along I'll show you that difference. And I'm also going to show you a tip that's going to make these potatoes tender before they even go in the oven to cut your cook time down. Okay, if you're ready, well, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, I've used a lot of different potatoes for scalloped or au gratin potatoes. Now, the ones I find really easy to work with and will cook really delicious and absorb all those flavors are the russet potatoes. But you can use like the red potatoes or the Yukon potatoes. That's totally fine. And if you want to leave the skin on, you can do that also. Just scrub your potatoes really good. For this dish, I'm going to go ahead and just peel my potatoes. And I'm going to be using, let's see, 6 potatoes right here. So you can use between 5 and 6 potatoes. All right, we're going to go ahead and get these peeled. Okay, we are ready to slice our potatoes. Now, here's a trick. When you slice your potatoes, you want to slice them really thin. I'm going to be slicing them about 1/8 of an inch. You can go up to 1/4 of an inch, but it's going to cook a little bit longer. Okay, so another tip is to use very hot water, pour it into a large bowl, and what that will do is start cooking those potatoes. So they cook in the oven a lot less time. And so while we're cooking our sauce, our potatoes will be getting nice and tender in here. Now you can also put water in a large bowl and put it in your microwave and just heat it up and do it that way. And that's another good trick. Also, you can have a pot of boiling water and put your potatoes in there and warm them up that way also. Okay, potatoes. Now these are peeled and we went ahead and washed them. Now I've got my little mandolin slicer here and it's at 1/8 of an inch, or you can go up to 1/4 of an inch, but it's going to take longer for the potatoes to get soft. So I recommend the 1/8 of an inch. If you're going to use a knife, go as thin as you can, like paper thin. Okay. Okay, you see how paper thin those are? Y'all, you don't need a big old mandolin or anything like this. This is a handheld one, and it's got 3 different sizes right here, and it also comes with a guard to put your potato on if you get to the end of it. And I want to show you how thin these are. Look, you can see right through them. That's how thin you want them. All right, so I've got all the potatoes in there. I'm gonna make sure they're all submerged in that hot water. Help them soften up while we make the roux, which will just take a few minutes, and these are fine to sit in there. All right, in just a medium pot over medium-high heat, I'm going to melt 3 tablespoons of butter. Now you want to make sure that your butter is fully melted before you start the next step. Okay, the butter is nice and melted. We got a nice little sizzle going on. We're going to add the same amount of flour. This is all-purpose, 3 tablespoons. And what you want to do is incorporate this into the butter. This will take about 1 minute. You're going to have 2 cups of milk ready. We're going to pour it in a little bit at a time. I'm going to break up all the lumps. Now if you want to put onions in this, you certainly can. You can dice up onions and brown them up with your butter, or you can just slice onions and add them. Believe it or not, this is the one dish that my family prefers no onions in, so not going in.
I think it's the only one.
Yes, we put onions in almost everything. But when I made it the way I know how to make it, they prefer it without the onions in it.
I'm telling you, that onion and Captain Crunch really works.
Oh my God.
I'm
You're
kidding.
cracking me up today.
I'm kidding.
Okay, guys, you need to season. I've got some pepper here, about 1/4 teaspoon. Make sure, because this is what's going to season everything, okay? So season, taste, season, taste. I've got some salt going in, a good amount. Looking about 1/2 teaspoon of salt, about 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Now, this is not traditionally in my recipe, but we like paprika in it. It gives it a nice color and a nice little flavor too. And we're going to be putting in some garlic powder, just a little bit. Now, if you want a lot of garlic in there, you can mince garlic and put it in there. But we just want to add a little flavor, not a lot. To mix this up, and we're going to continually mix this until it's nice and thick. Okay, we have a nice thick consistency here. What we're going to do, turn off the burner, and we're going to add 2 cups of cheese. Now I'm adding shredded cheddar cheese. All right, I'm just going to stir this in until it's well mixed and the cheese is melted. Think about all the flavors of cheese you can put in this. Look at that. Oh, yes. And that's it. All right, let's go ahead and build our au gratin potatoes. Okay, so what we're going to do is preheat our oven to 400 degrees, and then I've got some butter here, and I'm going to butter the bottom and the sides of a 9x13 baking dish. Yeah, add some more flavor. You can use regular spray if you want to use regular spray on this. That's totally fine. Okay, so I'm going to pull out about 1/3 of my potatoes here, and I'm just going to lay them on a kitchen towel and just pat them dry just a little bit. And then what you want to do is just kind of lay them in your baking dish in a single layer. Now, just as long as they're in a nice layer here, you don't have to get all fanciful because you're going to dig into this and pull it out, so no one's going to see the layers.
We don't need no fancy pants.
No fancy stuff going on here. Okay, what we're going to do now is take about 1/3 of this mixture here and just kind of, you know, oh my goodness, look how cheesy that is. And we're going to pour it over our potatoes here. We're going to do our second layer and then our third layer. All right, I've got 1 cup of heavy cream. I'm just going to kind of pour down the sides. All right, 1 cup of shredded cheese on the top. Whatever flavored cheese you want for your potatoes. We like the sharp cheddar cheese. All right, I'm just going to clean up my baking dish a little bit here. Get it all nice and clean. All right, we're going to cover this with some foil. Okay, now I've got some non-stick foil here. If you do not have non-stick foil, you can get some cooking spray and spray one side of your foil and then place that side onto your baking dish. And what that will do is help that cheese not stick to your foil. When you pull the foil off, you're not pulling half that cheese off. All right. Alright, this is ready to go in my preheated oven at 400 degrees for about 45 minutes to an hour covered. Now it all depends on the size of your potatoes that you cut them, either 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch, and also if you had steamed them with the hot water to kind of cook them somewhat. So it all depends, you guys. Take off the foil after that time and then put it back in your oven until that cheese gets nice and golden brown and those potatoes are cooked through and tender. I'll be back and show you how delicious this looks at the end. Now we're going to let this rest for about 10 to 15 minutes to kind of pull itself all together and let it absorb any other liquids that are in there, and then I'm going to try it for you. Here we go, my cheesy au gratin potatoes. Mmm. Makes all the difference in the world if you parboil your potatoes first. Place them in hot water, or you can boil them, whatever. Do it first though, you guys, because it will make these delicious. Less cooking time. All right, who's making these? All right, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you comment down below. If you're new to my channel, give me the subscribe button and that bell notification so you'll always know when shows like this one here are posted. It is so creamy if you do it the way I did it with those layers. Oh my gosh. I will see you on my next episode.